Hey guys, it's Adam. Finally here with the very overdue Unsupported Mac El Capitan video. Why is it overdue? Because the camera I was using, which is a Galaxy S3, died. But now I have an iPhone 5S, so we're back in business. This is a 2008 MacBook, and one of the problems with the previous models... Here, let me turn myself around. Okay, the problem with the 2008, 2007, 2006, etc., MacBooks is because no one really knows how to get the operating system to them. You see, they have a chipset that Apple's not supporting anymore. So if you try to run the operating system on a flash drive, it crashes. Why? Because Apple can't read the flash drive driver, if you will. If you try to put it to a hard drive partition, you can get to the main installer, but then you don't have a touchpad working, keyboard working, Bluetooth, or USB, so you can't get past the installer because you have nothing to type with. Some people have used screen sharing, some people have used a very, very complicated, Bluetooth from my MacBook Pro to my MacBook kind of thing. I don't like any of the methods right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I did, and then show you how to do it. Okay, so what I did was I took my 2008 MacBook. Let me focus real quick. There we go. Took my 2008 MacBook, and the first thing I did was accidentally break my keyboard. So that just kind of comes off now. As you can see, I'm missing the ribbon cable. It was an accident. It doesn't typically happen. It was my fault. But then I took a 2009 MacBook Logic board and a 2009 MacBook heatsink and installed them inside of the 2008 model. And that's pretty much the only way to get LCAP on these. There really is no other way, and I'm sorry to say that, but I've looked and looked and looked and looked and looked, and there's no viable way to do it. So this is going to cost a little bit of money. I believe I paid $46.99 total, and that was like the heatsink, the bottom casing, and the logic board. So I could have just installed the screen and stopped and been fine, but I wanted to keep the 2008 case, and so I did, and just to prove a point. Now I am missing my DVD drive. I can look it up, but I don't think the old DVD drives works with the new boards. So that is one thing you'll lose, is your DVD drive. However, after talking with most people, 90% of MacBook DVD drives go out anyway. So it's kind of a moot thing. So anyway, yeah, let's get started tearing this down and putting it back together. Let me give you a list of parts you're going to need. You're going to need some kind of precision set screwdriver. This is the kind that I used, just because it comes with the Phillips head pieces, if I can actually get a hold of them, and the flathead pieces, which you're going to need both. So that's what I used. Obviously, you're going to need a 2009 or 2010 MacBook Logic board and heatsink. If you can get a hold of the 2010, I have a very, very strong feeling and a very, very strong influence that they're probably going to drop support for the 2009 when OS 10.12 comes out. However, if you're just looking for a couple more years to squeeze this out and keep using it, then get the 2009. If you're looking for the most up-to-date software, if you're like me and you want to see what Apple's doing and you want to see what they're coming up with over their headquarters, then yeah, try to get the 2010. The only difference you're going to run into is they switched to DDR3, so there's going to be one RAM slot instead of two. But honestly, again, they use the same unibody case, they use the same charger, they use the same pins. They use the same Wi-Fi adapter. Literally, I believe people got screwed over because all they ever changed on the MacBook models over the years was the logic board. Everything else was the same. And personally, I believe people got screwed because they marketed it as a new device, but it really wasn't. Let me show you what else you're going to need. Okay, if you buy the board used, then odds are you're going to have to clean some thermal paste off of it. So you're going to need some Q-tips and either some rubbing alcohol or some hydrogen peroxide. I've learned peroxide works with it. Everyone recommends rubbing alcohol. So I guess I'm going to be using some hand sanitizer because I don't have any rubbing alcohol. It's 99% alcohol anyway. You just need something to clean the board off. And you're also going to need some replacement thermal paste. I picked this up for $1.97 at Best Buy. Any brand will work. I also recommend a rubber glove because you really don't want this crap on your hands. But yeah, that's just me. Okay, let's get the disassembly started. Okay, so first thing you want to do is get your camera into focus. There we go. Take this screw, and this screw out. Second thing, get your battery out. You can use a coin, or I just use a flat tip screwdriver head. Although I may have to get a coin or something. Hang on a second. Okay, if you're doing this one-handed, just use the whole screwdriver. Here we go. Just make sure it's unlocked. The battery will come right out. Okay, here's where it gets a little tricky. You're going to have a screw you need to take out here. One here. One here. And one right there. Honestly, just kind of go opposite. Don't take this one out, take this one out. Don't take this one out, take this one out. Don't take that one out, take that one out. Don't take that one out, take that one out. You know, just kind of think of it that way. If you want to, now's a good time to slide your RAM out, because you're not going to need it on the logic board anyway. So slide. Well, it's really hard to do one-handed. And I pulled the tab because I switched hard drives, so I'm just going to give mine a couple good knocks and let the hard drive slide out. I don't recommend doing that. If you have a pull tab, by all means, pull the tab. And that's all you need to do for that part. By the DVD drive, this screw and this screw. At the back of the computer, this screw and this screw. That one and that one. And then these two right here. Over by the connectors. So then, when you raise the MacBook, you need to just kind of pull around. It'll pop, the keyboard will pop free. And then don't do what I did and lift the entire way up. Just kind of lift right here. You'll see the cable, pop the cable free, and then the keyboard will come off. Now, I'll show you what you need to do to get the logic board free. Okay, so you're going to have a screw right here and a screw right here. The reason that I don't is because some of these screws aren't going to come back into place. It's okay. The logic board is really, really tight in here. You're going to have a screw by the fan. You need to take that one out. I'm probably using the wrong screw head, but that's okay. You're going to have another screw on this side of the fan. And this is why I recommend a precision set, because Apple makes all of their screw sizes different. So either get one of the little kits like at Walmart for like $1, you know, the small thin-headed sets, or heck, I've been told an eyeglass repair kit works. You can do it that way. So I mean, this does take a little engineering. Also, the cable right down here, just kind of pull up on it, and your fan is free. Set that off to the side. Next, you want to take the heatsink off. There's going to be a screw here, and there's going to be a screw here. And that L piece is very important, so don't lose it. I just usually set stuff over here where the CD drive used to be. There's going to be a screw up top here. And I apologize, my hands are shaking because I'm trying to hold the camera at a good angle and do this at the same time, and I'm not really that great of a multitasker, so you'll have to forgive me. Okay. While you're at it, deroute the cable right there. And you see what I'm talking about? Thermal paste. I'm not going to have to clean mine off because it's still wet. But yeah, just set it upside down if you don't want anything to get dirty. And keep in mind, you're not going to be using your 2008 logic board again unless you want to make a server out of it or something. So it doesn't really matter. Yeah. You're going to have a speaker jack here. Just pull up on that. Your other speaker is right there. Pull up on that. If you still have your CD drive, it's going to be underneath the hard drive cable. Just pull up on that. Oh no, wait, that's the Bluetooth cable. Sorry. CD drive cable's right here. Or hard drive, I mean. Sorry. CD drive, I think, goes right there. You're going to have another cable here. Sorry, I just got thermal compound on my hand. It's not a big deal if you do. It's just going to, you know, it gets everywhere. You have another cable right here. It's kind of, this is mostly pulling cables free and not breaking them. So it's a little contest to see just how good you are at doing stuff like that. Your MagSafe connector is right here. Take great care with this one. I actually got a bad shock the first time I did it. It comes free, so you might want to just set it over here. That's your LCD cable. Just kind of be very gentle when you pull up on it, because the wires will come loose. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Pull your Wi-Fi antennas free. And then, again, you're going to notice a couple of screws, maybe over here and over here. And one right there. There's going to be one under your Wi-Fi antenna. Or one on your Wi-Fi antenna, I'm sorry. Pull up, pull out. Set your Wi-Fi antenna to the side. It's still supported. It's still good. You don't need to do anything with that. Your battery connector, get into focus. Battery connector is over here. Again, take great care. It's a bunch of pins. In fact, I usually take a screwdriver and just kind of wedge it free, because it really is a bunch of pins, and if one of them gets bent, then it is a pain to get them back together. See? Well, you can't see anything. I'm going to put focus lock on. There we go. So that's that, and then you just pull up, kind of give her an old shake, and she'll come free. And that's it. Now, let's assume that you have your MacBook 2009-2010 logic board. What you're going to do is slide it into place of the 2008 one. Careful to move the cords out of the way. This is actually very difficult to do because some of the cords do not want to move, and I am going to set my camera down to do this. Okay, now that you have the logic board back into place, it's time to reconnect some cables. First, you want to reconnect the display monitor. Which I believe that it goes back this way. No, it's the other way. Okay. Gotta be a little careful. The way they designed their pins, it isn't exactly the best in the world, but it's getting there. Your speaker, your left speaker, I should say. Go ahead and reconnect that. Go ahead and reconnect your microphone. Actually, I think it goes that way. Pretty sure you gotta line the pin heads up with the pin heads. I don't necessarily know why they did it this way. Actually, you don't want to reconnect the microphone yet. Forget I said that. You actually want to put the heatsink on. So get your new heatsink, and as far as the thermal compound goes, pea-sized squirt on each one. Kind of like toothpaste. Just use your toothpaste roll. And then it goes on literally just like that. So now that you have the heatsink back in place, plug it back into the temperature monitor, which is right down here. Again, this takes some finagling. Okay, good. Now, take a fan. Literally, the fan just kind of slides up on the heatsink. So just make sure it's good and in place. Take your screwdriver, screw it back down. Get your screws. Try not to drop your screws. Just gonna screw your fan back down. Take your cable where it says fan A. Just kind of plugs right in. Well, it's supposed to plug right in again. It's better when you do this with two fingers so that you can hold the cable and then wedge the other part into place. Unfortunately, I don't have that luxury because I'm hand camming. So yeah, next, take your battery connector, and if you didn't break any pins, it should just push right down. The charger slides right into its housing. Circuit board side down. Like that. And then . The connector should just pop into place. And there's actually a screw that you should be able to screw it down with. One thing to note, that left speaker, that cable comes loose all the time. So if it keeps popping loose, don't get frustrated. Don't get upset or anything like that. Take your Bluetooth antenna, plug it down into place. Now is the time for your right speaker. That goes right here. Still haven't figured out really what this is, but it plugs in right here, I believe. No. Give me just a second. Oh, wait, yeah, that's your microphone. I don't know where my brain is today. Another firm note to self, don't be surprised if you get a little confused for a second. It's okay. But there's really no way to screw this up. Unless you start cutting cords with a pocket knife or something. Next one, this is the only order that really does matter. Your hard drive has to snap on first before this cable. And the last thing that I usually do is the Wi-Fi. Just kind of pop it on. Move the cables out of the way. I have to just hold them down. Okay, this is what I'm going to have to turn my camera off to do. I'm sorry. Last thing you do, pop that there. The gray one's always a pain for some reason. And you don't necessarily need it, it just gives you a higher antenna signal. There we go. And one last thing that I like to do, just to kind of save effort, is go ahead and slide your RAM in. And then take your hard drive, slide it into place. One last optional thing that you might want to do is plug up the MagSafe. Go ahead and put it in its place. And see, I didn't have my MagSafe all the way in. I didn't even realize it. If that MagSafe isn't firmly down, then it won't connect. And if you have a green light, then you know you at least have ground power. One optional thing that I like to do, you do not have to do this, is if you have a rubberized handle. I don't know if you can see this or not. Wait for it to focus. Focus right there. I'm wanting you to focus right there. Okay, you see where it says power? Sort of, kind of. Take your screwdriver. Gotta kind of do a jumper move. It's a little hard to do. But you can start the MacBook without the keyboard. That means you could start it without having any kind of, connections, just to make sure that your LCD comes on, make sure your speakers are still working, Make sure that your Wi-Fi is on. I already have El Capitan on here. So, macOS, El Capitan. It'll say early 2009 now, or 2010, or whatever. Intel Core 2 Duo, 2 gigabytes of RAM, GeForce 9400M, 256 megabytes. So, it worked. I'm on El Capitan. If you've done the unsupported Mac stuff before, you should have full graphics support now. If you're on Yosemite or Mavericks or whatever, even Mountain Lion. It's pretty great. So, as for the rest of it, hang on. I really don't want people seeing my serial number, even though it doesn't really matter. As for the rest of it, unplug this. Fit your keyboard back on. You gotta plug it in down here. And put the screws where they're supposed to go. Just watch everything that I did backwards. It'll, you know, screws only go back in one way. Now for something else. This is my last unsupported Mac video. I need to move on to bigger things. I have moved on to bigger things. In fact, I haven't turned the MacBook on since probably the last time I made a video. And I would have had this out sooner if I hadn't been so messed up with cameras and whatnot. But I will show you what I have been doing and what I'm going to make videos on later. It still is Apple related, if that helps. So this is my HP Star Wars Edition laptop. And what I've been working on is a flash drive loader for Skylake Hackintoshes. Now they have flash drive style bootloaders, but for Skylakes it's still a little iffy, and I'll show you why. It's no big deal, it's just graphics aren't really loading yet. Apple will support Skylakes come about March-ish. And so we're all just kind of chilling out, sitting around, and waiting for it to happen. So, when it does happen, my next how-to video is going to be how to Hackintosh a Skylake PC. And you say, why would you do that? Why would you bother doing that? Because this Skylake PC has an i5, 6 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, and it costs about $400 less than a MacBook Pro. See, right now, I'm having to load without any kind of pretty graphics. I'm using CDoc. See if I click Finder and go to About This Mac. El Capitan. I don't care if you get this serial number or not, because it's not real. We have to list it as Mac Pro, 2.4 gigahertz i5, 6 gigs of RAM, Hackintosh, Intel HD graphics 520. And just a note to everybody out there in the Hackintoshing community, I'm running the 520. And I know you can't see jack squat because of the stupid autofocus. I'm running the 520 and I have my Finder options available. Like, I don't know if you see that or not, but they're not turning green. Had to do high contrast for that to work. Dock looks pretty good. Launchpad is still... My God, focus already. There we go. Launchpad is still doing that weird launchpad-y thing. I mean, yeah. it's bad until the graphics actually, figure themselves out. But with high contrast, all that works. App Store's still failing. Safari's still failing. But I'm still working on it. Let's see what we can do, right? This is Adam. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video because it took a lot of effort to make. If you have any questions about unsupported Macs, I'm sure I can help you. And of course I'll update, if Apple's going to support it or not. I really honestly doubt they will. But if they do, I'll let you guys know. And yeah, that's it. Have a good day.